So I just found out that Jelly Roll is on the cover of Men's Health magazine. He has lost an unbelievable 275 pounds and completely transformed his life. Not just his looks, but also his health and his mindset. I just saw his weight loss story, and honestly, I related to just about all of it, and I want to talk about why right now on the Cog Is Shred. Hey everybody, John here, and welcome to the Cog Is Shred. If you're new here, this channel is all about weight loss motivation, recipes, and changing your mindset. I used to weigh well over 300 pounds. I managed to lose the weight and keep it off. And on this channel, I am sharing what has worked for me, what I've learned along the way, what I'm still learning, and hopefully helping to encourage others who may be in the same situation that I was, trying to lose weight but feeling stuck and discouraged. So yeah, Jelly Roll is on the cover of Men's Health. That is so awesome. I just saw his weight loss story that was featured on the Men's Health YouTube channel, and I gotta say, it hit me a lot harder than I thought I would. You know, I am also a musician. I could relate in a lot of ways. I was also performing concerts at my heaviest, and even though I was smiling on stage, I was struggling physically in a lot of ways that most people probably didn't see. Or maybe they did and were just a little too nice to say anything to me. I think it was kind of obvious. I've also dealt with a very unhealthy relationship with food and had to confront addiction in my life. So the whole time I was watching his story and hearing him talk about the shame, the change in mindset, starting small, staying consistent, I was just like, yep, the whole way through. And so I wanted to make this video and talk about all the parallels that I saw in our stories, because I think a lot of people who have gone through a weight loss journey like this will see themselves in his story as well. And I also wanted to try and encourage anyone out there who feels stuck and discouraged, who wants to try to make a similar positive change in their life.
I was living a dream, a fairy tale. All these cool, unbelievable things are happening to me, and I'm literally too big to enjoy it. It's almost to the point where I look back now and I can't believe that I was able to perform.
That resonated with me immediately. I know that feeling of struggling to perform on stage at my heaviest weight. I mean, I was definitely not as heavy as he was, and certainly not a world-famous musician, but our little independent steampunk band had big dreams of performing at these steampunk events, and eventually we got to play these dream shows, and we got to perform with the bands that inspired us, bands like Steam Powered Giraffe and Abney Park, and I was literally living my dream, and I got so heavy that it was hard to enjoy the moment. I was just on stage in pain, my back was hurting and my feet were hurting, and I was sweating profusely and just drinking water like crazy. It was getting to the point where I was struggling just to finish a song sometimes, and I would be on stage wishing I hadn't booked the show. I was living my dream and regretting it just because I was so out of shape I couldn't properly perform.
I think what I was doing was I felt so misunderstood that I was closet eating the whole time. And then this thing started blowing up, and still carrying that fat kid from whenever I was 14 with me the whole way.
Still carrying around that fat kid. That is something I think anyone that grew up as a fat kid can relate to. I was a fat kid. I hated being a fat kid. I didn't like the way I looked. I was insecure. I was made fun of. It might even be one of the reasons why I was drawn to being an entertainer. I think I may have realized early on that if I could impress people with my talents, they would see me as the talented kid and not just the fat kid. I will say, all the years of doing this band and all the shows we have played, I have met amazing people. Not one person has been mean or said anything negative. Even online, I think I can only think of 2 instances ever that I read harsh comments about my weight. And yet, those 2 comments still stand out to me despite the multitude of compliments. I mean, that kind of thing sticks with you. I think you're always inside still that insecure fat kid.
You don't see a bunch of 60-year-old obese people. And here I was going into my 40s at 500 and some pounds. I was probably having to eat 6,000 calories a day.
I had very similar thoughts about how my weight would affect my health as I got older too. In fact, I am turning 40 this year. That was one of the big motivators for me to finally change when I did, but I remember having these worries as far back as being a teenager. I remember being in my 20s worrying that I might die of a heart attack. I remember sitting and anytime I would feel like a slight discomfort in my chest, I'd be like, oh no, this is it. This is like, I was that concerned about having a heart attack in my 20s. So as I was entering my mid-30s at the heaviest I had ever been, I was just like, there is no way I can keep going like this. In fact, just like he said, I calculated, and on an average day, I was frequently eating close to, if not more than 6,000 calories a day as well.
I can't talk about one area of my life it was not affecting. It's as disgusting as you imagine. When I think of it being disgusting, I feel shame again. And shame is the exact same thing that will send me right back into the pantry. It's the same thing that sends an alcoholic right back to a bar.
That comparison is so accurate, not just for alcohol, but for any addiction. And food, for me, was an addiction.
We originally built our little crew around drugs and alcohol, and then we got off drugs and alcohol, and you'd be surprised how the food doubled. One, it was a full-blown food addiction. I see that now, like, really clearly.
And, you know, I have had struggles with alcohol, and I've had struggles with food. The difference is, you don't need alcohol to survive. You do need food to survive. And overeating can be socially acceptable, at least more so than overdrinking. So it took me a little bit longer to realize I had a food addiction than I realized an alcohol addiction.
I applied a lot of my principles from my sobriety to this weight loss journey. So I immediately plugged back into the program. And I realized that what I could apply to alcohol, I could apply to food. And I was already struggling with alcohol, so I just learned how to bungee them both into my daily practices.
Once I finally realized that it was an addiction, it helped me to stop seeing it as a moral failing or a character flaw and realize in the same way it's a behavior that has to be managed.
You know, everyone will say, oh, he's got a chef, oh, it's easy, but a calorie deficit is a calorie deficit. They are not easy.
100%. I love that this is mentioned because how easy is it when we're feeling discouraged to look at a famous person who's lost weight and say, well, of course they could lose weight. It was easy for them. They have money, they could hire a chef. If I had the money to hire a personal chef, I could lose weight too. It's easy to feel that way, but in reality, if every famous person who wanted to lose weight just needed a personal chef, we'd probably see a lot fewer overweight celebrities. But it's still up to the person to make choices. They can still eat whatever they want, whenever they want. And, you know, especially for someone who's dealing with an addiction, an alcoholic can still sneak alcohol, and a food addict can still sneak food. Making real change depends on the person being ready and willing and having the desire to change. And changing behavior does not happen right away. One of my favorite things about Jelly Roll's story is he talks about starting small.
And so he texted me or DM'd me and he said, can you help fat people as well? Because whatever you got going that's helping change everyone else's life, I could use.
I said, we're gonna start by walking to the mailbox and back. And the next day we're gonna add a mailbox, and the day after that we're gonna add another mailbox. And eventually you're going to guarantee me 10,000 steps a day, no matter what.
That is such an important lesson when you are starting. Start off slowly. You don't want to push yourself to the point of discouragement or worse, injure yourself. Start off just doing what you can. Just move.
I couldn't do any kind of physical exercise at all. So ashamed that I couldn't walk a mile. Yeah, I couldn't walk hardly anywhere.
When I first started, at my absolute heaviest, I couldn't walk that fast or for very long. I would take a break halfway through walking in my local park. And when I walked on the treadmill, I think I walked about 2 miles per hour for about 30 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes on the first few days, because that's about all I could comfortably do. Now, I can go for an hour at 4 miles per hour comfortably. I'll be sweaty, but I won't even be out of breath. But it takes time.
The first time to get up here, I thought my heart was gonna skip out of rhythm. It was beating so hard, it scared me. Then we started walking. Every time, I feel like my lungs and heart take it better.
Yeah.
Every time, even the last one compared to the one before that, I'm getting less tired and less breathy as the workout goes on.
Just starting out with movement, just getting your heart rate up and doing anything, you will continue to build over time. Look, it will take time to increase your strength and stamina. It will take time to change your relationship with food. That's okay. This is not a race, it's not a quick fix diet. This is making real change to behaviors you have had your entire life. That will take time. That is okay.
I can touch my toes now. I seen my kneecaps the other day standing up. That's a real thing. That's a whole new concept for me, man.
And you are going to learn and make more changes along the way. You know, I started out losing my weight through mindful eating. I didn't change what I ate, but I changed the way I ate. I only ate to satiety, but I still ate the same foods. I lost a ton of weight, but then as time went on, I surprised myself by wanting to try other things I had never imagined I would ever want to do before. And you might surprise yourself as well as time goes on. This is an ongoing change of lifestyle.
My relationship with food started changing. I started wanting to eat. I started wanting to learn more about what I was putting in my body, how it was making me feel, what micronutrients were, macronutrients were. It starts to get fun. I turned into the seasonal fruit eater. I never thought I'd be that guy, but I'm like, now I turn into the dude. It's like, so what's fruits in season around here? And I'm like, I'll take that.
I laughed when I heard him say that because I said the same thing. I never thought I'd be that guy. I always said, I'm never gonna care about calories. I hate counting calories. I'm never gonna lift weights. I don't care about fitness. And now I've got a YouTube channel where I share low-calorie recipes and talk about fitness, so.
I love how I eat now. I love the way I feel.
Same, 100%. This is exactly the way I feel now too, and it's crazy because I used to just scarf down massive amounts of just the most indulgent food, and I would feel like crap all the time without even realizing it. I was just always overfull, always sleepy and sluggish after eating, always tired, always inflamed, always out of breath. And when you feel like crap all the time, you don't even realize it. When you've never experienced how you're supposed to feel, then how can you possibly even know what healthy feels like? And the way that I feel now is so much better. And the food that I eat, the way it makes me feel is so good and I crave it. Like, there is no going back. Ever. There is no going back to the way I used to live.
I feel the weight loss in every facet, whether it's basketball and how I dribble or move or how I can breathe running up and down a court. I feel it when I sleep and my hip hurts less and I can roll over easier without making a big of a rumble, or the fact that me and my wife can fit on the same bed again.
All of that. I agree with all of that. It all applies to me as well. I feel better. I have less lower back pain. I can breathe better. I can move better. I can run. I can go out and run from one end of the yard to the other and not get out of breath or break a sweat. That still blows my mind because never once in my life, my entire life, was that ever something I even conceived would be normal. That was just the reality of life as far as I was concerned.
How do you feel? You must feel it's got to be unexplainable.
You know, when you started talking about this with your health, you didn't talk about how you looked. You talked about how you felt in all the interviews. You were like, I feel like I'm 25 years old again. Dana, I feel like I'm a teenager, dog.
There is nothing better than waking up every day and feeling awesome, man. That's going to change every aspect of your life.
You know, I expected to have more confidence in my appearance and feel lighter. You know, I figured things like getting off the couch or getting out of bed would be easier. I never expected the insane mental clarity that has come with it, or the boost to my energy or my mood, or, I mean, literally, everything has improved. It's crazy. I can do things now I legitimately never, ever imagined I would be able to do. I can run. What? Like, I mean, I could spend a whole day doing yard work and hauling logs around. I just built a greenhouse in my backyard and then came in at the end of the day and still had energy. That genuinely blows my mind. I've always heard the saying, you are what you eat. But, you know, if you eat good, you feel good.
Duh.
I'm loving my body. This is a whole new thing for me, y'all. I've been in prison to a fat suit for 30-something years. I am on the cover of Men's Health magazine, dude. Maybe that's my purpose anyways, to be an example to others in every way. I wish I could bottle what I'm feeling right now up and give it to everybody who's struggling out there. It is special, it's different, and it really came through food and exercise.
I love that so much. You know, I don't think I would say that I feel like this is my purpose, but I absolutely feel like it is something that I am just compelled to do. You know, I got to talk about this with Ethan Suplee when I met him a few months ago. At his heaviest, he was also over 500 pounds, and he wanted to just lose the weight and forget about it. And now he's got a podcast all about weight loss and a YouTube channel. And, you know, I was talking to him and I said, I used to wonder why so many people who lost weight suddenly decide that they want to be weight loss coaches or go into talking about it all the time. It just, you know, I just wanted to lose weight and get on with my life. But now I get it, because I struggled and suffered with this for so long, and I spent most of my life just dying to figure out how to fix this problem that I just could not seem to fix. It just felt like it was impossible. And then when I finally did it and realized just how beneficial it was and how much better I felt than I ever imagined, I just wanted to share it with as many people as possible, because so many people are struggling with this. I was one, Ethan was one, Jelly Roll was one, and we just can't keep it to ourselves. When we see other people going through the same struggle that we went with, we want them to experience the same thing.
And I don't have a goal weight. I have a feeling weight, and I don't feel it yet. You know what I mean? And I'll know when I feel it, because I'll finally be there.
I get that. You know, I didn't exactly have a goal weight either. There was a time when I kind of had a number in my head that I thought was ideal, but ultimately what I was really after was just getting to a point where my body felt good and comfortable where it was at. And I'm finally there, you know, and at this point I am just trying to maintain it and stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can.
But man, I've worked really hard and lost the weight the right way.
That is so awesome. You know, obviously I don't know Jelly Roll personally, but I know the struggle that he went through. And because I know that struggle, I am genuinely proud of him. I mean, that kind of change, it takes real determination, real effort, and a real desire to turn things around. So if you're watching this and you feel like you've tried everything and nothing ever works, trust me, you are not broken and you are not alone. Real change is possible, I promise you. It just might start a little bit slower than you thought it would. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the Cog Is Shred for more weight loss motivation, delicious low-calorie, high-protein recipes, and other videos related to my weight loss and fitness journey. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.